Good evening. We are live with another episode of IOPPS Goes Live, episode 13 with Hailey Stone. Welcome, Hailey.
Hello, hello. I don't know why you talked so slow.
I was doing ASMR. Isn't that how you guys do it?
I was like, is he okay? Is he okay?
Anyway, welcome everybody. Episode 13 of IOPPS Goes Live. I have with me tonight Hailey Stone from Mosquito First Nation. Welcome, Hailey.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. If you guys don't remember, well, probably you guys, a lot of you don't know who Hailey is. But I had her on, well, not my show, it was actually BATC's show. And yeah, and they invited me on to do this podcasting to their conferences, or their one conference was pretty fun. And then Hailey, I invited her on as a guest, and yeah. And then she messaged, when did you message me?
I messaged you about 2.5 weeks ago. Actually, I would say it was a month ago now.
Yeah. And then,
yeah, that was a month ago.
And then, oh, yeah, we were going to do it. And then, yeah, the world went to shit after that. So, yeah, sorry. Hey, I keep on thinking you're a minor and I'm swearing. So I apologize. I just gotta, sometimes I just swear. It's just who I am. Anyway, welcome, Hailey. I wanted to actually bring Hailey back on the show because Hailey is a young lady who has accomplished a hell of a lot in her young life. And how old are you? You're only 16, 15?
I actually had a birthday.
Oh,
since this pandemic.
15?
So I'm 17 now.
How old are you?
17.
17. You've had I feel sorry for everyone having birthdays right now in these pandemics.
Oh, I know.
Like, what did you do on your birthday? Did you even get to do anything?
I think I just went for a walk. I didn't really get to do anything, but made my own cake, I guess.
Did you get to FaceTime with any of your friends or anything?
Yeah, we actually did Zoom. So my whole family got to do a big Zoom, and there was about 10 of us on our computers, and they all sang happy birthday for me.
I totally want to, and I'm going to wear this. I just found out, I realized I have a green screen option, and I'm going to kind of trip you guys out. Woo! So I'm going to wear this. So I really want to, actually, it's kind of cool that you're on now. The universe wanted it this way because I want to find out what's going on with you teenagers, what's happening with you all. Because I've always heard, I work in a school, so I already know what us teachers and the support staff are up to. And I want to know what's going on with through all your guys' young minds, because this is just crazy what's going on. And yeah, like, you know, being forced basically to finish a school year in middle of March and told you're passing. And, you know, I don't know if, and like I did an education podcast with these like superintendents and directors of education. And they're saying this is going to affect like marks going on 2 to 3 years down the road. You know, it's not like a short-term effect. So, I mean, I don't know if you realize, I don't even know, you know, anything right now. Like, everyone doesn't know anything what's going on. But first of all, let's get to see who you are, because I want to talk about all the awards you won and everything. Then we're going to get into all the cool. Well, that's cool what you're doing with all the awards, but I really want to get into the nitty-gritty of what you see with yourself in the future, because what's going on with this coronavirus.
Yeah, I know this virus has just taken over almost everything. Like, I can't even do my job because I have to stay home, and it's like the worst feeling ever. I hate staying home. Like, I'm not one person to like staying home. I'm always getting out of the house and doing stuff, and it's just having a lot of siblings. It's really tough.
Yeah, how many siblings you got?
I have 6 siblings, but in the house right now, I only have a couple.
Yeah, and you're like the middle, lower, higher. Where are you at in the totem pole of the siblings?
I'm in the middle. I'm actually in the middle. Yes. Okay. I'm the middle child. I'm the youngest baby for a girl.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm a baby girl, I guess.
So yeah, let's get into Hailey. I want everyone to hear your story first, right? And then like we get into the craziness of the corona through a teenager's eyes, and who the one who's living through it right now, because you're going to be able to tell this story to your children and
I
to your
know.
grandchildren, and like we all are. It's like, oh, I lived through the corona, right?
I can live through anything now.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So let's get to it. Let's get to what's going on with sorry, I better turn the comments on there. Yeah, tell us about yourself. Tell us about all those awards and where you're from, all that stuff.
So I'm Hailey Stone. I'm from Mosquito, Grizzly Bearhead, Leeman First Nation. I'm 17 years old. I'm a high school student at the Comprehensive High School in North Alfred. Basically, I started getting into youth leadership when I was 15, almost 16. I was going through a really tough time, and I needed something to really help me that could just like let me be myself again, as I was dealing with anxiety and depression, and I was in a horrible state, and I need to get out of it. So when I had an opportunity to leave and get out of this province, I guess, I took advantage of it. And that was
the province.
yeah.
Never
And
mind me just getting out of the province.
I just need to get out of Sask. But yeah, so basically I just took advantage of that. And it was a life changer. I didn't realize how much I would like it and how much I was capable of changing. Like, they made me seem like I was a superstar, being an Indigenous person ready to.
Who did?
The first people that I met, they were Three Things Consulting, and they were the ones that brought me to Ottawa.
Oh, so you said you're just getting out of the province. We didn't know where you went or anything.
Oh, I went to Ottawa. That was my very first experience.
Why did you go to Ottawa? Who took you there?
I went all by myself. I felt so independent. This
15-year-old.
15
15 years old went to Ottawa.
Yeah. And it was called, what was it called? Raised Voices. And it was called Carriers of Hope. And I didn't realize that I was going to become a carrier of hope. And I think there was 30 Indigenous youth from across Canada that all got together in Ottawa to come up with calls to action.
Yeah, just go ahead, keep talking, because this is what the people are looking at there. They can read.
And yeah, so I stayed there for 3 days, and I heard all different kinds of stories from people living from up north, out east, out west, and it really changed my point of view on things. And I realized that there's so much I can do, even though I'm so young, and only being a 15-year-old, I realized how powerful my voice really was, and how strong and capable I am of creating change and bettering my community and bettering Canada. And when I went home, I just felt like this whole new, different girl. And I was like, you know what? Like, I'm so passionate about this. This is something I want to do. And as an Indigenous youth, I think it's important that other youth feel that they have a voice as well.
Yeah. Remember I was saying when we were sitting down there, and I was just saying, I couldn't believe you were 16 at the time. And it was only, 3 months ago? When was that? 3 months ago? Yeah, it was about 3 months ago. When I couldn't believe how you were talking and presenting yourself as 16 years old. And I was just like, wow, man, like, you're so mature for your age, and just all the accomplishments you've done.
Thank you.
At such a young age, and I was just blown away. So I was, wow. So, yeah, you're probably going there now. Let's continue on your story. Sorry.
Yeah. So I went to that conference, and I was like, like, this has literally changed my view on things and how I view other people and my surroundings. And I think I took a lot of things for advantage, and I think I didn't appreciate things as much as I should have, which included my household and my lifestyle and the way I lived. And I saw how some Indigenous youth lived, and I said, you know what? I think I need to express that I shouldn't take what I have for granted. And I guess from my very first conference, more opportunities came for me, and apparently I had a strong voice, and they said, you know what, you're very bright and you're very powerful, and your words moved us. And I got more opportunities, and out of nowhere I was going to like Vancouver, and I went to Toronto, and like it just all happened so fast. And I was like, wow, like going to one thing, I didn't realize that it would bring many more. And I was just, it all happened so quick and it escalated very fast. But I mean, I was so passionate about it. It was something I love to do, and it didn't feel like work.
So where do you think that came where do you think it started? Like where do you think like everything starts? Like yesterday I did a podcast with my cousin, and
Mhm.
he's so 34 now, and he was telling his story, and then where he is now and everything. But he told he told me one story, and it stuck with me. I mean, you're so young right now, like you got a whole 80 years yet to experience in life. But he told me one story, and he used to be a hockey. Well, he is a hockey player, but he played and he got invited. He was playing with the Humboldt Broncos, right, at the SJHL.
Mhm.
And he told me one story where he had a choice. The coach said, "Okay, Drew, well, we want you on our team, but you're gonna ride the pine. You're gonna, only play when somebody gets hurt or something, right?" So what Drew
Drew
said,
Rose?
huh?
Drew Rose?
Yeah, yeah. So what he said, he's like, "Well, no, I'm gonna go play in Indian tournaments. I'm making money, and then whatever." Right. So he made that choice. So that choice had all this effect, like had negative effect on him.
Mhm.
When he went into drinking and all this stuff. But anyway, where he ended up now, I said, Drew, if you would have made that choice, do you think to go play with Humboldt? You know, like we weighed it out, right? Like he said he regrets that decision. I was like, wow, look at that decision where you are now. Like your life is just awesome. Right? Like he's sober, he's going to school, he's gonna write a
Mhm.
book. And I said, imagine if you did that choice and you went and played with them. I
That's
said,
actually that's actually my dad's nephew.
oh really?
Yeah.
We'll do the family connection after,
Yeah,
but
that was
yeah, we're all related somehow.
that's
But yeah, so I thought that was cool, and I want to use his story and that example
Mhm.
going forward because you being at such a young age too, all the decisions you're gonna make are gonna lead to who knows what. Like I mean, we all go through these little butterfly effects of we choose one thing and then could lead
Yeah.
us to something else. But this the whole point is just never regret your decisions. That's where I
Yeah.
was going with that. I was supposed to come in there with a good kicker, but anyway.
It definitely was a choice for me.
Yeah, well, I mean, to go to like, how did it start? How did it start? You wrote an essay or something, or
Yeah, so I saw this thing on Facebook, and it was like an application and then
I
an
still find it
opportunity.
weird. Okay, hold on, I'm gonna stop you right there. You're 15 at the time,
Yeah.
and you're on Facebook. That's weird. So I mean, that's her being mature. Well, yeah, because you never see anyone your age, anyone 25 and under, being on Facebook. So that's you can already tell you're mature already.
I feel
Like,
like that's where all the news is.
yeah, see, that's I mean,
Find everything
you're
out
a
on
mature
Facebook.
thinker.
If you don't have Facebook, you're missing out on a lot of stuff.
Yeah, a lot of drama. But yeah, go ahead. So you've seen this article on Facebook?
Yeah, and it said, um, they're picking 30 students across Canada, and they needed what you had to do was write an essay. And once you write this essay, you submit it, and then they were gonna let you know like in a week or two. And I was like, okay, well, I think I'm gonna do this. And I was like, Mom, do you think it's like, should I do this? And she's like, yeah, I'll help you. She helped me, and we wrote it. And I think, man, it was longer than I thought it was gonna be. Like, if I don't get chosen, like, I don't know, like, there has to be some high people up in there, like hardcore people. Cause
If I don't get chosen, oh, watch out for this Facebook update. It's gonna be sick and lit and on fire, and everyone's getting tagged. Ah.
basically. Yeah, so I submitted it, and then they said they had like 200 applications, and they were only picking like 2 people from each region. And
Region like province
yeah,
or okay.
yeah, so like Sask, Manitoba, like
Yeah.
And so I got a call, and I was at school, or actually my dad got the call, and
Yeah.
or my mom got the call, and she called my dad because my dad works at our school, and he says, "Hailey, come to my classroom right now." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what did I do?" Like,
Getting in trouble,
no,
Dad.
like somebody told on me for something, and then I went to his room and I was like, "What?" And he's like, "You need to call this number," and he had it on the sticky note, and I was like, "Oh my gosh." And my heart was pounding. I was like, "I already know." I was like, "I already know."
Yeah.
It was pretty deadly. Like, I already know. And then, anyways,
Confidence is key in that one.
I'm just kidding. No, I didn't know. But I called
Yeah.
it. I take that back. But then, yeah, I called this number, and they said, "Is this Hailey Stone?" And I said, "Yes, speaking." And they're like, "Congratulations." And I'm like, "What?" They're like, "You have been chosen to be one of the carriers of hope." And I was like, "What?" Like,
Yeah.
seriously? And they're like, "Yeah, we're flying
You're
you to Ottawa."
15.
And I was like, "Score."
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you're
Yeah,
15 at the time when all that was going down?
yeah, I was 15 because
Wow.
it was I was almost 16, but yeah, I was still 15.
So you get to Ottawa by yourself.
Yeah,
Like you flew from Saskatoon, I'm guessing, to
first time on a flight.
really
Yeah,
Ottawa.
first time on a plane all alone.
I'm scared shitless of flying. Scared. I flew ever I flew to New Zealand and everything, but that was before the internet was big. Before YouTube was big and then everything. Anyway, that's a long story. Anyway, yeah. So you're in Ottawa and you're 15 and you're with 30 other or how many other people?
Yeah, I
30.
think there was 34. I think I want to say there was 34. 2 from each region. Let's go there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's an article on it.
36. There's 36 other.
36?
Yeah.
Okay, 36, yes. And yeah, I just
So it says here you
showed up in this huge airport, exposed.
what do you mean exposed? Like just like in
Well,
awe of everything? Like it was just like wow. I've never been to Ottawa, so don't know what
well,
it's like.
it was, yeah, like the airport was like cool. Like they had like a waterfall in there, like a colorful one. I was like,
Oh really?
yeah.
Huh.
So I snapped
We
it.
gotta expect, man, like there's a lot of bigwigs that probably go to Ottawa, like world leaders, man. When they land, they probably want to make, big impression.
And here's the thing. I went to that conference and I was like, yeah, it's just going to be a tiny little conference. And they were preparing us because there was going to be the big day. They were preparing us for this big day. And we're like, okay. And we were coming up with calls to action. And these calls to action were something that we wanted to see implemented into education because that's what we talked about was education and how we could better it for Indigenous students. So we planned having a daycare for teen moms.
Oh, that's a good one. Yep.
And having a Cree class mandatory, or not a Cree class, like a
Indigenous language class.
yeah. And then I think we said we wanted First Nations curricula into the curriculum or something like that.
Maybe that's why I just actually read somewhere that the residential schools will be taught now into the curriculum. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure, next year it'll be started getting taught mandatory. So
Mhm.
maybe that was you guys. Maybe you were the final push to get it through.
I'm not really sure, but anyways, so we came up with 5. And then they were going to choose 5 people to announce these calls to action in front of decision makers and policy makers and government people. And we're like, yeah, right. It's like, come on. I remember we were staying up all one night in our hotel room and we were talking like, there's going to be government people here? And we're like, no way. Like, they just didn't seem like like they would be able to get those people all together in one. And here I was standing at the podium, and I was looking, and I was like, Perry Bellegarde is here.
Yeah. It was a real deal, eh? It was like the real deal.
Yeah, this was the real deal. Like the national chief here was here, and Carolyn Bennett was there, and
Yeah,
we
yeah.
had every single chief from like almost every region was there, but Bobby Cameron. Just kidding.
But everyone except Bobby Cameron.
Yeah, Bobby wasn't there,
What was
but
it? An assembly, I see. Okay.
yeah. So there was a lot of AFN people there, and yeah, it was like a huge deal, and I was like in awe. And that was my first time speaking in front of everyone too.
Wow.
And then
So you're still you after all that's done, when you came back, it seemed like you kicked it up a notch at your school.
what do you mean? What did you hear?
It's not what what I'm reading here.
What have you heard?
You're like all these awards you won.
Searching it up.
Oh no, it's on. I remember you telling me. Remember, it was about the
Yeah. So I did. I won an award.
You won 2. It says you won a mental health capacity building for at MBCHS, which is a school, for a workshop she facilitated with support from Taking It Global at her school on mental health and education. Her goal was to help and remove the stigma of mental illness. Was that something to do? Like, tell me about that, because it was pretty interesting. You said it had something to do with you created an after school something, and tell me about that. And then you were surprised to see who came after. I remember you telling me that. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So I was working with the Students' Commissions of Canada, and they said they wanted some young students to hold workshops in the school, and they had a decision between education or mental health. And I was like, you know what? I think that's a perfect opportunity for me to take. And I said, my community struggles with mental health, and I think we need more awareness. And this was when a lot of people were grieving over the suicides we had. And I took advantage of it, and I hosted a mental health workshop after school with help of the former Junior Citizen of the Year. She actually came and helped me. And yeah, we had this workshop, and we posted posters everywhere all over the school, and we're like, man, like how much people are going to show up? Like, I have no idea. And here we're all sitting down, and all these hockey players came in, and we're like, what? Hockey players? And I had messaged a hockey coach because he's very strong about mental health.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what, if you feel your boys need to, like, they're more than welcome to come to this workshop. And he's like, okay. Like, I didn't think he would like actually get them to come, but here there was about 7 of them that walked in, and I was like, what? Like, out of everyone that could have came, it's hockey guys that wanted to come to my workshop to talk about mental health. And they had a lot to say. Like, they were very they had a lot to say for themselves, and they said that
do you remember something that they said?
I think they said that a lot of hockey players go through anxiety and the pressure behind it. And they said that because they're big and they're supposed to be manly, I guess, that they feel they have to hide it. And I think that's one of the main things that they said, was that they're hiding it. And I said, you know what, like, I think you should be proud to, like, not only who you are, but I think that you should be brave and be able to express your feelings and not hide that, because it can bottle up. It's like a bottle. If you have a bottle and you're throwing stuff in it, after a while, once that bottle gets full, it's going to explode. So
No, that's true. And it's like yeah, because It's not my phone. Oops, sorry. But you're right. Like a lot of people hold things in.
Mhm.
And then, like, for instance, now perfect timing because mental health is probably going crazy right now through a lot of people because they're sitting at home and they can't do anything but wake up, go to the couch,
Eat.
go eat, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and then now you start seeing that people are getting fined like for going out. No, I don't say outside, but like going for a walk. Like I seen this family in Ontario that got fined for like $880 or whatever, which is stupid because everyone, if they're in quarantine with a family, should be let out, right? Because it's the mental health that is important. You need to get out and get some exercise
Mhm.
and switch it up because, like you're saying, some people might have been bottled up already in their house for 21 days.
Yeah.
Week and like shit, you need to get rid of that, right? Like that's huge.
Yeah. So once I did that mental health workshop, they came up with an award, and it was like a mental health capacity building initiative award. I think the whole word was, and I
Yeah.
was the very first one to make this award, and it meant a lot because when I did that, I didn't think I was gonna get anything out of it, and I thought, you know what, like I'm doing this because I think it's very important, and I want to do this to help others and know that they're not alone, and that they can have that support and not feel alone. And it's okay if you're a girl or a guy, like you're still gonna go through it and not have that feeling of you need to hide this. And I wanted more people to be able to express their feelings because when you hold it in, it can really affect you, and it can affect the people around you too, because you can start to lash out, or you can start to ignore people or shut people out, and they don't know what's wrong. So when I won that, it was like a really big an accomplishment because I was proud that what I was doing was getting recognized, and other people were starting to notice how confident and passionate I was about bringing more awareness to
For
mental health.
for mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah, I commend you. And you were 16 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like yeah, and I mean, like a lot of 16-year-olds we know are, they're just doing whatever 16-year-old teenagers do, and this. So that's why I mean, I commend you for doing this. Like that's a adults would not even think of that because a lot of adults are scared of the repercussions of what if it goes wrong, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Connor Natal. At a time where everyone is stuck together during the COVID-19, either healthy or unhealthy behaviors, but could also be a good time to learn about oneself. That is true.
Say less.
That is very true. But yeah, I mean, like, just I don't know. I'm so impressed all the stuff you did at such a young age, and you're still young. Like you're still a baby. Like you still got forever to go, and to all these things you're accomplishing. You know, I like that mental health one because in my position, I'm trying to start, and we actually would have had a meeting here just last week, and it would have been in regards to suicide and mental health, right, and bullying. And I'm trying to get a committee on each reserve, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if any craziness happens, like mental health or a suicide, there's a committee on the reserve, and everyone knows who's on the committee, right? It's like right now, if you're on the res, it's like, okay, who do I call? I'm going nuts. You sometimes if you have a health clinic, you call them, right? But you don't know who to talk to,
Yeah.
like the nurse. But if we have a committee on the reserve, you know what I mean? So now you can call mosquito
That's
committee.
a good idea.
You know what I mean?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, it's to have the youth on there and the elders and just it would their sole focus would be bullying and mosquito bullying and suicide prevention and post and pre just yeah, that's one of the ideas. But I mean, I think you're on track where you're going to be creating programs like this in the next 5 years. You're going to be a a force to be reckoned with. Oh, my mom's watching. My mom's a big fan of my show.
Maybe we're interfering our future.
Yeah. The first Indigenous female prime minister. Wouldn't that be wicked?
My camera quality is kind of crappy, but I'm blushing right now.
Don't worry about it. It's all good. So, yeah, no, congratulations again on those awards.
Thank you.
So now what? Can you tell me what's going on? Oh, what's this one? There you go. Sky
Favorite
not the limit. Reach for the stars.
That's my auntie. I love her.
Oh, Joni. Joni's married to my buddy. So yeah, no, it's so now you're just collecting all these awards, and I guarantee 100% they're gonna still keep coming. So I want to know now. I want to get to now where you guys are like I want to get into a teenager's head right now where we are with the COVID, right? Because I want to know what's going through your mind. Someone who's probably had high marks and everything, I'm guessing. And because where do you go to the comp? Obviously, and you guys have quarter systems, eh?
We have what, sir?
You're in quarters. Is that how you guys do them? First, second, third, fourth, or how do you guys do?
No, we only have 2 semesters.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like 3 credit. How many credits can you get in each semester?
5.
5. Okay, that's changed a little bit.
Yeah.
I went there in the 90s. Long time. Yeah. So what were you guys thinking? What was going through your mind when all this COVID started happening? When did you teenagers start talking about it? And when did you guys kind of realize shit was about to hit the fan?
Well, I think we started talking about it like beginning of March, like March 1st, around that time. That's when we first started hearing about it, and it was hitting Alberta, and it was hitting like the regions beside us, and we're like, holy.
It's like you looked at that,
like,
it was coming in closer.
Like it was slowly coming to us, like it was gonna reach us. And remember, I was sitting in English class, and then that was the first time I heard that Alberta was shutting down their school, and I was like, what? And everyone's like, man, I wish they did that for us. Like, I wish school was out. And I didn't think we all realized that if school is going to be shut down, that we would have to stay home. You know, we thought, you know what, school's out. This is early summer. But it didn't turn out like that. And I think even I was like one of those students. I was like, yes, like I hope they take school shut down. Like, honestly, like I could really use an early summer break. But yeah, so when I got home, I was like, I think I got home, and my mom was like, you know what, you're staying home. Like, you're not going anywhere. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, I don't care. Like, I think we had like 2 cases in Saskatchewan. Yeah. And she's like, you're not going anywhere. And like, honestly, I kind of like did not like her for that first week, but I think that was the right call. And I think need to thank her on that one, because social distancing is important, but I really miss school, and I think I need to take school for advantage now, because
like, you realize
like I'm so like it's
look at all the stuff we're like not doing, right? Mm-hmm. Like going outside for walks. I guess we can still do that as long as you stay away from everyone, which is hard. But now they're like finding like, I don't know. I seen in some pictures. Anyway, this guy was like sneezing in one aisle, and like 2 aisles over, his germs were reaching. Like it's just, the social distancing. So, oh, my mic's on. Yeah. So a lot of your friends, like, what are you guys talking about? You know, about your future. Like, I know all you guys were given like straight 50s.
Yeah. So whatever mark you had, you were given that mark, and then it was going to stay there. And then the only way it would move is it would go up. It wouldn't go down. And if you were failing a class or something, I think it just stayed at a 50.
So I could have went and had like 30s right across the board, and I was passing.
Yeah.
Wow, eh?
Yeah. And, all my grades were good. All my classes were good. But I thought about it and I was like, you know what? I need this information and I need to know how to do this and that, because next year when I take this class, I'm not going to know what to do.
Are
Right?
you doing online classes?
Yeah. So I'm doing my science and I'm doing my English.
Sam, you two are ridiculous. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
Your
We know.
haircut is ridiculous.
But yeah, so just gonna keep doing my work, keep doing my thing. I mean, it keeps me busy, right?
Yeah.
Something to do rather than just sitting on the couch doing nothing. But I don't know, like school is a privilege. Like I never like school's not like my only motivation was friends, right? I'm gonna see my friends.
Yeah.
And um like I think a lot of students now are gonna realize that school is like the best. Like school, we need school, and I think a lot of students probably are thinking right now that
This at all.
going crazy in home. Actually, I bet you my parents are going crazy. Just me sitting here.
Well, don't you guys like Zoom and talk to each other and FaceTime and
Yeah, we
yeah.
try to, but it's not the same, right?
It's not the same just sitting around like hanging with the buddies. Like I get it. Like yeah.
It's
And
what we need to do, though.
I feel for you younger generation because like this is like the best time of your guys' life. Like high school, whether whatever your experiences is, you look back on it, and majority of the people have a good experience in high
Mm.
school, and because you get all their memories, you meet all your friends, and some of them become lifelong friends, right? Uh, yeah. So I don't know. That's just yeah. I feel for you guys, and if you're even in grade 12, you were done. That's it. You passed, and that was it. Your high school's career ended at March, and there's
I think
no graduation or
it's such like an emotional time, like a lot of that's what you go to high school and you're in grade 12 and like this is the year you've been waiting for. You've gone to school for 12 years. Like this
Mhm.
is the day you've been waiting for. Like you want to get up on that stage and you want to get, you want to flip that thingy. But
Yeah.
I think it was very emotional. I have cousins that were going to graduate and my heart feels for them because they bought their suit and they bought their dress and they're ready to walk that aisle, and now they just
Maybe they'll have like an online grad or something,
well,
right?
I think they'll have a grad for them once everything's over because that would just be the right thing to do.
Oh yeah. Even if
But
next January when this things they say, I'm hearing all crazy things, but yeah,
mm,
definitely gonna have to have a grad for everybody because that's just not fair. Jeanette Gazio, is this your friend? How do you say her last name?
Geza,
Gaza? Would you ever consider running for chief? Is,
Jeanette,
is,
I
po- is
think I think
is politics in your future? Because you seem to type like you literally seem. You know who you remind me of that one Democratic girl there. I don't know, but she's like always in Trump's face and like oh, what's her name?
yeah.
Anyway, you know who I'm talking about? She used to be like this waitress in New York, and all of a sudden she got elected, and now she's like big, like one of the more famous congresswoman.
Um, well, I think
You know who I'm
I was
talking about,
brought
right?
to attend. Yes, I think so.
Yeah. So do you see politics in your future?
Well, everything I've worked for, just kidding.
You
Everything
don't want
I've
anyone calling
done,
you for a 20?
like I don't know, like it honestly, it makes it feel so good. Like
What?
I'm like thinking about my future, like it just,
Yeah. What is
it's
your future? Do you know where you're going to school? Do you already have that planned out or
I
are you
can't tell the future, but Um,
What did you say? I lost
I don't know. Like I think I'm just so my heart's telling me that I should, but
to
I
run
mean,
for politics.
to be involved with politics,
Oh, okay.
but I think there's been brought to my attention a junior chief of my reserve.
Yeah, yeah. No, you guys have an amazing chief and council. An amazing chief and council. You got your reserve is just amazing. Like your leadership is pretty awesome. You guys are
I
lucky.
think if I were to ever be like a chief, I don't think I can be like a local chief. I think.
Oh, shooting for the big one, eh?
Yeah,
FSA, AFN.
AFN. Just kidding. I think no, and I'm not kidding.
Oh,
Actually,
you're not kidding. Yeah. No, I mean,
just kidding, and they're not kidding.
those are uh, those are awesome dreams because my daughter is going to be looking up to you. Like my daughter's 11, and you're going to be, you're going to have a lot of young indigenous women, little girls that are going to come up to you when they're like 20 and like, oh, hey, Hailey or Mrs. Stone or whatever your name's going to be. Then it's like, oh, I followed you and I look up to your story and like, you're such an amazing woman. And like, you're going to have, youth coming
Yeah,
up to you like that, right?
I honestly, I already do, and it's like the best feeling because you realize that people are listening to what you have to say and people are recognizing you, and like knowing that other youth are listening to me, like it's a good feeling because um
Yeah, that's her name. Oh, uh, I think that's the lady I'm talking about. Thank you, Jeanette. That's who I'm talking about.
yeah, and so yeah, like knowing that other indigenous youth and I'm empowering them to be confident because in my school there is a lot of indigenous youth that are very closed in and they're hidden, right? um
What do
and
you mean hidden? What do you mean?
like I feel like a lot of indigenous youth feel that they can't express who they are because they're scared of racism or other people's judgments, right? And I think
That's a big,
even
yeah.
me, like I see that. Like when I'm in my classroom, I look to my right and like there's that one girl, she's just sitting in the corner and she's all alone. I'm like, you know what? Like bring her in. Like bring her into the discussion. Bring her in. Like don't leave her out just because you think she's shy. Like she may not even be shy. She may just be quiet because you guys have never talked to her.
Hmm.
Like I think people underestimate our power and how much our voice really matters. And I think I wanted to change that because I wanted to be that role model for other Indigenous youth, to be able to express themselves and feel good about themselves and not always be hidden and put to the side, I guess, because a lot of Indigenous youth are left out. And I think they are very well spoken. And I think they do have a lot to say. And I know our graduation rates are very low. And I always wanted to bring those rates up because it is very important. And the only way that we can do that is find that equity and find that equality so that everyone is involved.
It's like I want to pass this mic to you so you can just drop it like that. It's like mic drop. Get it? Or just like one of them TikToks, or I'll hand it to you on this side.
Yeah, I don't know. Like my heart, like I feel like at a point I was that student that was very, very closed in and didn't really want to say that much. But now I feel more confident and I'm proud to be Indigenous. Like everyone knows, like she's proud. She's proud.
Yes, man. I love that you say that, man. Like, just proud to who we are. Eh? And I admit it, like me when I was in my high school growing up, I wasn't, I was scared. Oh, my cousin. Sorry, I have my phone hooked up. Better take that off.
Um,
Yeah, in my younger days, it was like, I hung around, I kind of grew up with a lot of white people, it's my friends because I didn't get to say what you said, man. And that's something I'll admit now, right?
mhm.
It's so good to hear someone that young saying so proud to be indigenous, and it's great to hear that people are saying that now.
Uh-huh.
Look at that. Oh, here's Uncle Clint.
Uncle Clint just knows.
What up, brother?
Aw.
But
Yeah.
it's like I said, you don't sound like a 17-year-old. You literally sound like someone who's early 20s, mid 20s that talk in the way you talk with the maturity level and the confidence. The confidence when you speak is
Thank
up
you.
there. Yeah. So
It never used to be like
Yes.
Who?
Oh no, sorry. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, it never used to be like that. I was, I was always like a very outgoing girl, and I was always loud. I
Yeah.
wasn't really loud, like annoying loud, but I was very. I just felt like there needed to be someone who could allow other Indigenous youth to feel welcomed and to feel that like you can do it, right? And somebody that's going to push them, or someone that they can look up to and be like, you know what? If I can do this, you can do it too. Like you're not alone. Like if you need someone, you can come to me. Like feel free to come to me because I will be there to guide you and I will push you to whatever dream or goal you have because I know you can do it. And I think you're so
I think you're deadly. And I like watching you be deadly.
Boom. No, hats off to you. Hats off to you. Like that's just wow. Like just like I said again, she's only 17, folks, and she speaks with the maturity of somebody who's 30 and been through there and knows what's going on. And it's yeah. So hats off to you. No, like especially now in a time now, like you're saying with anxiety, like we're going back to that mental health. You're saying all these hockey players are hawk walking and then they're living with anxiety. I think everyone is really living with anxiety now because everything's plastered on our social media, or you do one post and it becomes viral for the wrong reasons, or you did
yeah.
something stupid. It's like everyone's gonna know, and just I don't know. A lot of people I find now are living with anxiety, and
And they don't know how to deal with it, right?
how to deal with it. I did a Chase the Ace in our school. Anyway, I had like up to 1,000 people watch me at one time, right? And we are giving away like 100,000, 50 grand, and I was just going nuts. And I've never had anxiety in my life. I got anxiety on the show, like we're live like this, and I got anxiety and I started hyperventilating almost. But I had this lady who was there from the Catholic one of the services, the Catholic services there, they were coming to see how we are doing at JCAs, and this lady was like a counselor.
Mhm.
So okay, she's like took over and like calmed me down on the show, and I was like losing my mind, eh? But I put in that perspective, I put in there, and I realized I felt so out of control when I had anxiety. Like I couldn't do anything. I felt like I was gonna die almost. And I could only imagine what people who have anxiety on a daily 24/7 go through. And you're right, they don't know how to go through it. They don't know what to do. They don't know the skills. That there's little things like, for instance, you ever hear of this one? Grounding.
What are you doing?
You're touching the wall. Sorry.
Oh,
So
grounding. Yes.
yeah, grounding. So grounding. So anyone out there who's dealing with anxiety, that's one of the cool little tools you can do. Grounding. Take off your
meditation.
yeah. But I'm talking right now, like you say you're having an anxiety attack, take off your shoes, take off your socks, let your feet touch the ground. They say Mother Earth is that our connection, right? Like Avatar. You ever watch Avatar?
Yes.
So, I love that show. Love it. I do this thing, IOPPS movie reviews on my Snap, and then I give everyone. That's the only movie I'd probably give like a 9.3 out of 10. It's so good, and my scores are tough. So 9.3 is like almost like it's Oscar worthy. Anyway, so how the Mother Earth is like it's all connected. You know how it's all connected?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how we are. That's how Earth is to us. Like I believe it. I think there's like vibes going through the Earth. That's
everything's living.
Everything's living. it's true. Everything is living, right?
like everything. Yeah.
Anyway, that's another show. I can go into. I actually want to do a mental health show, and I would love it. Maybe if you want to come on one day,
One day.
and maybe soon, because I do, because like I'm doing these every day because everyone, I've been getting messages saying, "Hey, thanks for doing these," because we're getting sick of watching Netflix and doing the same thing every day. So kind of bringing a different take to stuff. But I do want to do a mental health awareness one and bring in all the big pros that teach us how to. But I mean, I would even consider you a pro because you would have that teenage aspect where you can kind of look on.
Well, not only that, but I went through it, right?
Yeah.
And the people that have, the people that can help the most is the one that's actually experienced it, right? Because I know what it feels like. And I went through it at a young age, and it really like took a hold of me. I was like this whole, like if you would have saw me, you wouldn't even think that was me. Like I reckon honestly, being able to do what I do has like been the biggest life changer. And when I say that, like I really do mean it because it literally made me who I am.
You need to start like a podcast, I think. Didn't I tell you that?
No.
Who said that?
Oh, maybe you said that in your dream.
Huh?
Maybe you said that in your dream.
No, I swear I said you should start a podcast at the when I was talking to you. Didn't I? I thought I was telling everyone I think everyone should start a podcast like this because everyone's got cool perspectives on anything, right? And
Yeah.
like you're saying, like we just have to overcome a fear, right? You know what I mean?
I think the best thing that you can do when you're like going through mental health is find something you're very passionate about, or find something that you're very strong, or like a goal. Find a goal and try accomplish that goal, because if you try accomplish that goal, you're doing something. You're keeping yourself busy. You're not just staying in one place and staying stationary. You're trying to do something so you have something to look forward to instead of just being alone and just letting your feelings get a hold of you. And I think that's what worked for me was having that little getaway, being able to be this independent person. Like it literally changed everything. It changed the way I looked at things. It changed the way I used to treat others. Like I think the biggest part about mental health is remembering who you are and what you're capable of. And I think remembering that you're not alone, and you're not the only person that goes through it. Even if you're a guy, if you're a girl, there's always somebody that's gonna know what you're going through, or somebody that can help you. You zoomed in on my face. But yeah, I think it's very important that you talk about your feelings and remember who you are. And even if you're old, like you can still go through it if you're old. So.
Like me, I'm old.
We don't even have white hairs yet.
Me, I'm yeah, I'm 42 years old.
I'm getting.
Yeah.
No. But yeah, I think it's very difficult. I'm not saying it's easy. Like it's definitely one of like the hardest things I've ever been through. But if I hadn't been through that stage, if I hadn't gone through that, I don't think I would be the person I am today, without a doubt.
Now here you are. The universe is putting you where you are because you need to be there.
And everything happens for a reason.
Everything happens for
so maybe that will make you stronger. If you can handle that, you can handle a lot of things. A little heartbreak.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So what do you got in the future? What do you got going on? Like anything coming up? Was there anything coming up that got canceled that you want to tell us about? What happened?
Yes. Okay, so before the pandemic, you have such a bright future. Your parents must be very proud. Well, they are. They are. Thank you. Thank you very much. You're an amazing young lady. Aw, I love you, Donna. I can't see those comments.
What?
Yeah, like I can't see who's
Oh.
watching. So, but yeah. So before COVID-19, I went to Toronto. I think I got back March 10th.
Mhm.
I got back March 10th, and that's when it was like, holy crap! Like everything's hitting us. Like we're getting.
What was happening in Toronto when you were there?
I went to the Canada We Want conference.
Oh,
Yeah. It's about 150 youth from all across Canada. And you go to like a place outside of Toronto, and then you come up with, I guess, how do you call it? So we talked about 10 main things. So you can talk about education, justice system, LBGTQ, I think it is.
Mhm.
You can talk about just mainly like issues, like you can talk about mental health, I think there is, and they all split you up and you go into all these different groups, and then you come up with a plan. What are you going to do? What do you want to see happen? And how are you going to do this? Right? Like, what are you going to tell these policymakers and stuff? Because that's who we presented in front of, and we gave them a plan, what we wanted to see happen, and how they can make this happen, like what they have to do. And so we presented downtown Toronto, and I think we had like 20 presenters, and they listened to what we had to say, and then they gave us feedback. And yeah, I think anyone can go. Anyone can go. You just got to get funded or find the money to go. And it's amazing opportunity. A lot of different youth from all across Canada.
Yeah. So yeah, you were saying something else was getting canceled.
Yeah, so I was supposed to go to a little conference in Ottawa, and it was about it was called Spirit Gatherings, and it was to talk about our languages and how all these different Indigenous languages are being lost because youth do not know how to speak their language. And I think they wanted to talk about how we could fix this and how we could make sure that youth and adults understand and get to know their language.
Do you
So
know what my idea is on that? Do you know what my idea is on that? And everyone who's listening right now, and if there's my mother who's a Cree speaker, and anyone else that speaks Cree, here is my idea. Here is my idea. Oh, hold on.
Here's my idea.
You're it, girl. Keep reaching for the stars. See
Thank
that
you.
guy in there, Drew? That's when well, you know Drew. Well,
Yeah.
you know Charlotte and them.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's my idea, and everyone who's listening, anyone who can speak any Indigenous language, whether it be Cree, Dene, Lakota, Nakota, whatever, right? Start a podcast. Invite Cree speakers or Dene speak, whatever, right? To have that conversation. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then do both languages. So say I'm a Cree speaker and I'm talking to you in Cree right now, right? And then we start, yeah, Mananto, Kimaga, right? And we start having a little conversation, but we get it going more like we're having a Cree class right now, but it's live. And then you have people that are following along in the comments and like, well, how do you say this or whatever, right? So now, I'd say, well, how do you say, hey, how are you doing? And then the person on the podcast would say it live. So now I'm hearing it, right? Now I'm hearing it. Does that sound like a cool idea?
That'd be a good idea. What about the people that don't have access to their resources, like internet?
Oh,
Like, what if they're elders and stuff and they don't have access to a computer or something?
Go record them?
Go record them?
No. I mean, you can't. It's like when you're in politics, chief and council. You can't please everybody, but we got to start somewhere. You know what I mean? Start there, and then get this going, and then get the other stuff going after, like right after. Come up with the plan.
I started a Cree class. Does that work?
Yeah, no, that's like no. Tell everyone about that. What you did with that. I even read that in an article.
Yeah. I started a Cree class in my school. I brought in an elder.
Thinks it's a great idea. Thank you, Joni.
That is a great idea.
Hats off. Oh, can someone give me a high five or something? That is a great idea because you know what I wanted to do is set up a podcast and so I'm gonna get back to your Cree story real quick, but I
Yeah.
wanted to start a podcast with like my mom and a few other elders and make a page for them on Facebook or something, and all they would do is speak Cree and they just tell stories and they would just talk, right?
Yeah.
Because other Cree people they just like to hear people speak Cree, and even non-Cree speakers like to hear it, right? Because it's just who we are. So that's one of the ideas I had.
Somebody should take advantage of that idea.
You guys heard it here now. If you guys do it, please let me know because I would love to share it. And that's actually I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Done.
He's gonna do it.
I'm gonna create a book. I'm gonna create a book. I'm gonna create a Facebook group. I'm gonna create a Facebook page and a YouTube channel and connect them. And then everyone's gonna start speaking Cree on it. And I don't know, we'll call it Red Pheasant something.
I'll tune in.
Back to your how you brought Cree to your school.
Yeah, so I received a grant and then I was like, you know what do I do with this grant? Like, what does my school or what does my community need? And I was like, a lot of youth don't know how to speak Cree. And that's something I wanted to learn because as a Plains Cree woman, like, I think it's important that I know how to speak Cree so I can pass it on to, my kids and my grandkids, and so that they never lose their language, because that is basically our first language.
Yeah, and that would be a huge confidence builder with the youth growing up, man. If I knew how to speak Cree growing up, man, my chest would be walking around like that. Like, hey, man, watch out! I know how to speak Cree. And you feel that much more empowered.
Yeah, and it's like you have like more of a connection to your culture, and like when you talk to elders, like how good that would feel just to be able to talk Cree to them. And it's just like it's a good feeling. And I think it's important to know your language and your background. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna start a Cree class. So I worked with the Gateway to Success in my school, and it's basically a class that works with Indigenous and non-Indigenous students to help them be successful in school.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked my teacher, Miss Armstrong, and I said, would you want to work with me and start a Cree class? And she was like, what? And she was like all in for it. She's like, yes, like, let's do this.
Wait, really?
She's like, I'll help you fund. Like, I'll help you do this. So we worked together and we brought in Carolyn Kiskotagan, I think.
Carolyn Kiskotagan, yeah.
Yeah. And so she was willing to work the class with us. And when we brought her in, she said, yeah, I would love to do this and whatnot. And we decided that it wouldn't be fair if she just came in for an hour. So we said, well, we'll keep you for the whole afternoon. So she stayed at our school every Tuesday for the whole afternoon after she taught the Cree class. And we had between 20 and 15 students every lunch hour that would come on Tuesdays. And they said, the school division actually said that if there was enough students willing to learn this Cree class, that they would have it as an elective so that you could get a credit for it.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And I was like, what?
You started that?
Yeah, I started that.
See, everyone, take point on that. Don't be scared. It just takes one little idea.
You can do it.
You just got to do it. You literally just have to try and do it. Who gives a shit if you're going to fail? No, I'm serious, right? You fail, you learn, and then you move on to that next step. How do I get this dream going, or whatever you're trying to do? Make sense?
You just have to believe it, and then you'll do it.
Boom.
Anything can
Girl's
happen.
awesome, you guys. This girl, and she's only 17, man. Like, come on, right? Doing awesome. How about showing traditional things like dancing, cooking, fishing, etc.? Are you talking about the podcast, Janet?
She's talking about if it was a class, probably.
Is she?
Maybe.
She'll tell us in the comments what she's meaning.
You know what? That is something I've also already talked about too. Is if we could do more activities that involve students to go outside and do activities based around Indigenous culture. Because not only would it
Based learning.
yeah, exactly. Not only would it bring the students together, but it would allow them to have a relationship, right? And it would allow them to get away from social media, right? A lot of students just
You
go
mean
on
like
social
going to
media.
class and
Instead of just going to class and sitting down and writing tests and stuff, there's a totally different way of learning. Like you can learn outside, right?
oh, okay, she's a classroom. Yeah. And I guess that goes back to here. Dancing, cooking. Well, they do have classes like that, but I think it's like maybe once a month or something people would go.
Yeah.
And she's from New Jersey. Wow. Yes, Joni, land-based learning. Yep, exactly.
I think that
But
would be,
are you trying to think like when you go to class and it would be like an everyday thing? So you're just stepping in you're not even going to class. Because I think
that would be hard to do.
I work at a school and I think this is just my personal opinion. So everyone who's watching, maybe my boss is watching. It's just a personal opinion. But I think being in a square, you got, X amount of students. It feels like just we're a herd of cattle and we're herding them. And you know what I mean? And you're right. I think we need to get everyone outside.
Mm.
And yes, land-based learning, because land-based learning is becoming really big right now. It's like they see the importance of it.
You know what? If you ask any student, what would you do if you didn't have a phone, if you didn't have a stove, if you didn't have a grocery store? What would you do?
It would be perfect right now because look at what we're going through. And
Yeah.
look how much we're relying on everything.
Yes. And like a lot of people don't know the basic concept of survival. Like some students, like I bet you if they went fishing, they wouldn't know what to do it like at all. They wouldn't know how to make food. They wouldn't be able to skin their own deer and be able to cook it and eat it, or like making clothes. Like if we had nothing, like would you know how to survive? And things like this is scary. Like the pandemic, like this is things you could be learning right now.
You're exactly right. So let's just say land base was really full force, 100%. And this Christian said, just trap it out.
Yeah.
I'm guessing he's talking about trapping. And see, I mean, us down here in central Cree, or, or Plains Cree around here, we didn't really get into trapping. But up north, it's kind of just like the thing they do, right? But I mean, it would be nice. You're right. Like, right now where we are in the world we are living through, literally right now in this pandemic, you're right. Like what if it goes really sad? And it's not gonna, folks.
Yeah.
This is just a huge example. I really believe that we're gonna get through this. But what if shit goes south, real south? And right, and then here we are. You're right. How do you skin a deer? I'm hungry. There's no grocery store.
Mm.
I can shoot a deer. Like me, I've never been hunting, but I could literally go shoot a deer because it's not hard. I'm hoping it's not hard. Like, they're not gonna. That's as far as I'd go. Like I'd shoot the deer and that's it. Right?
Really?
I don't know how to skin a deer. I know how to fish and I know how to fillet a fish and I know how to do all that. I'd go on the fish side, but I mean, what if I wanted a deer?
Yeah. See, that's something you should learn. That should be your goal. Is how to skin.
I was showed. They brought a deer to our school one day, and like this, one of our gym teachers, he's a hunter, eh? He knows how to skin a deer and everything. I should learn. Everyone should learn.
It's not only a man's job.
Hey man, we're in a new world. Alejandro, doesn't matter, man. We're not talking about that. Good thing you can't see these comments.
No.
Okay. I don't know who Alejandro Carranza is. Anyway, if you guys are just joining us, Hailey Stone here, big accomplishment in her life. All of a sudden, we're talking about land-based learning and just where it could go and the possibilities. Yeah, it's been a cool little conversation with you. I didn't see. This is what I love, and everyone else. Get out there. You don't need a good equipment I have. Start with your phone. And this program I'm using is called StreamYard.com. Check it out. It's free. You can use it for free, and then there's paid programs. But I mean, this is like, and then I tell you, Hailey, this is I think this is, I don't know. I really would love to see a lot more Indigenous podcasts out there, especially from the youth, because I'd love to just see what they're going through and what you guys are thinking and all that. Like, would this be something you would do?
Maybe I could check it out. I don't know if somebody would watch. Comment below if you'd watch.
You know what? No, and here's the thing: you could even come under IOPPS and host your own podcast. We could call it IOPPS supporting the youth or something. Give it a name. Like here, you can see IOPPS goes live. Like this is my show, right? And right now, I'm doing I'm getting people coming in to do fitness and everything. But I mean, the sky's the limit. Like everyone says, the sky's the limit. It's just another thing that I think this is a good platform for people such as yourself to empower everybody, right?
Big word.
Huh?
It's a big word.
It's a big word. Empower. Even when you say it, it's like, right? Empower. This platform, yeah, social media is a great way to empower people, especially Indigenous people.
That's definitely true.
Are there any questions out there while we're chatting? If anyone has any questions for Hailey or myself, please leave them in
Hailey.
Or Hailey. Is it Hailey?
Yeah, it's Hailey.
You know what? I have a student, her name is Hailey, but I always say Hailey. So I ended up just calling her Hailey. That's what I call her. I say Hailey.
Hailey.
I always get it mixed up, so I just say Hailey.
That's okay.
Yeah. If anyone's got any questions for Hailey Stone, leave them in the comments here because we're probably going to shut her down here. We've been giving her for an hour and 12 minutes so far.
Oh wow!
Right? It just goes.
Comments.
Huh? I'm pretty sure. See, the other people could see them. I don't know why you can't. School, and I think.
Oh, sorry about that.
Oh. Yeah, we're on a 30-second delay as also. So.
What? Is she single though?
Yeah. Who's that? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Ignore that. There's always one in every conversation. So university, where you off to?
As far as I can get.
See, that mic drop again. See, I'm passing you the mic drop. Are you going to U of S? You going? Are you getting out of again?
I think I'm I'm so big on family.
Right there. What's on the horizon in the future?
Oh, the future scares me.
Embrace the future.
I think I'm so I'm a big family person, and I think deep down my mom knows that I don't think I could go that far from family. But in order to have this big career for myself, I think my only choice is to go far if I want to be this big leader.
Travel.
Yeah.
You got to experience other places and see what they're going through. Because I lived in New Zealand for 8 months. It opened my eyes.
Opened your eyes.
Big time.
See, that's the thing. A lot of people said, "Are you going to take a year off, or are you going to stay?" And I'm like, studying Saskatoon. Oh, that's what a lot of people have been telling me.
Yeah.
The U of S, like everyone's like, the U of S is great. But I've been working hard for my grades, so I think I'm capable of going somewhere. I think.
Far? See, you just want to say it. Just say it. You want to go somewhere far. Go experience life.
But what if I miss my family? Like that's the
You're
thing.
gonna miss your family regardless, even if you're in Saskatoon.
What if something happens? They're gonna have to get on that.
You know what? No, stop that right now because there's gonna be no. Listen, there's gonna be what ifs every single day in your life, every single day, and there's so many great people that probably held back a lot because they're like, what if? Who knows what if, man? Like you could literally die tomorrow, and you don't know. I'm being straight honest. We all die, right? We all die. That's the thing we got to get over. But also, you guys, we can't. And I've held back a lot of stuff because I always said, "What if? What if? What if? What if?" Right? We got to get that mindset. Is like, "What if?" Start thinking, "What if I don't go? What if I don't do that?" Right? What if I don't do this? What's gonna happen? Instead of thinking, "What if?" The other side. I'm sorry, that's a little harsh, but I mean,
I got the mic right there. So you're telling me I should move away?
I'm telling you, you should do whatever you want, and don't let your mind change your mind. Don't let you know what I mean. Go with your heart, because your mind's gonna start saying, "What if? What if?"
Mm,
You know what I mean,
fair enough.
right?
That is true.
Like, I don't know how else to explain it. Like, there's a lot of places I could have went, could have, should have done, but I was just like you. I was just like, "What if? Well, what if this? Well, what if that?" And then just stayed back.
Mm-hmm.
This is
The
just for
sky's the limit.
the sky is the limit, as Joni said, and Charlotte said. Like, look at Charlotte. Like, look at Drew. Is Drew your uncle? I guess. Be your uncle.
Yeah, I guess.
So Drew, look at him. He just, he was doing his thing in Saskatoon hockey, whatever. It wasn't going good, and then he just up and left with his wife. Well, she wasn't his wife then, but his girlfriend, Charlotte, and then went to Williams Lake. And now look at his life, like, because he just went up and just went. He just went and did it. Just like I'm just gonna, I just went and started this podcast. He just went and did it, right? You never know until you try, right? You know that old saying, you never know until you try.
Sure. Well, I think I always wanted to be in a big city. I don't know why, but I feel like that's where your voice is heard the most.
Boom.
So I think, Vancouver?
Vancouver's a beautiful place.
Yeah, I just.
And they got a beautiful indigenous culture.
I don't even know what I want to do yet,
You went to Ottawa at 15 alone. I think you could handle Vancouver. A friend of mine both
I went to Vancouver.
Huh?
I went to Vancouver alone.
See? No problem. You're good to go. Yeah, look at Drew said. He just gotta be deadly.
That is facts.
Facts. See, I'm just listening to the young slang. That is facts.
No, I don't say that stuff. I just said that to be cool, to be
And the
deadly.
bro said, keep being great. We got your back wherever you go.
Oh, thank you.
Charlotte and Joni are awesome.
They
And
are.
both Charlotte and Drew.
They are.
Okay, right there. I'm going to use those two couples as examples. They're like, oh my God, what's he going to say?
You featured.
Yeah. You guys, like, and anyone else who's watching, Clint's one of my best friends. Drew, he's my cousin, and and then Charlotte and her awesome story, and Joni, she's got a good story too. But I mean, these are people that just never gave up, right? And then guaranteed, all four of them went through shit. They went through a lot of shit, and just life throws you a lot of shit. Sometimes you're gonna experience that when you get older, and it just always happens. But it's like, how are you gonna overcome all that, right? You know, and
Hope.
yeah, hope and not giving up and not letting the what ifs get in your way,
I like that.
right? Ooh, that's like I should write that down. I'm gonna own that one. You've heard it here first on IOPS Goes Live.
That is good.
Do not let the what ifs get in your way. Oh, if I could take this off, I just drop it right now.
I
I'm gonna
think, yeah, like it's crazy. You can start up in like a small place, you know, have like not as much as you think you could, and end up somewhere like huge and successful. And as long as you have that mindset as you can get there and I'm going to get there, then it'll happen.
see, you already got that attitude though. You already have, like, when you were speaking, like you already have that mindset and that talk that you're gonna, you know, that goal oriented, ambitious attitude, which you need.
Hope. I ran off hope.
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 You're just gonna hope. It's like you got $5. I hope I can get Saskatoon. And well, with today's gas prices, you could get Saskatoon with $5.
That's my goal.
What's your goal? Get to Saskatoon with $5.
My goal is to be able to go to Saskatoon.
Oh. Get out of the house.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
pandemic is crazy. I just need
Yeah,
that.
the pandemic. And I hope everyone that's watching right now, especially in New Jersey, Janet, that's your friend, right?
A friend of a friend.
A friend of a friend of a friend, by the sounds of it. Janet, I hope you guys are doing good down there in the States. I don't know what side you're sitting on with the Trump guy, but let's hope you guys can flatten the curve down in the States, because whatever happens down there, it kind of affects us up here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Stay home. Wash your
Yeah.
hands, please.
Yeah. So, Hailey, I'm going to call you that because Hallie.
Hey,
What I'm doing on this show now, I started with Drew yesterday because we're going to wrap this up. I'm going to have you close out with some words of wisdom. Okay. And then you're going to get the screen like this. Right. And I just want you to say what you got to say. Right. Straight from the heart. And just kind of close it out. Sound
all
good?
right. Sounds perfect.
Other than that, you guys, thank you for checking out IOPS Goes Live, episode 12 with Hailey Stone.
Hailey Stone.
Hailey Stone. Did you see? I was looking up. Is it Hailey or Hailey?
Hailey Stone Rose.
Hailey Stone Rose. Yeah. Yeah. So there you guys go. I'm gonna close it out. She's gonna close it out. And thank you,
I'm
Hailey.
closing it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
And then when I end the live, just stay on because I want to show you something here. Okay, go ahead. Oh no, that's me. So
Well, guys, I just want to say, you know, if you have a goal, try your best to achieve that goal. Don't underestimate your ability to conquer that goal. I think you're fully capable of accomplishing whatever your dream may be. And I think if you are in a dark place, there's always that push that you can be in a better place and you will get to that better place. And it's always to remember who you are and that you are not alone, and that if you are confident about something, then you should speak because you do have a voice, and that goes for everyone. But as an Indigenous youth, I think you should always be very confident in who you are and be able to express your voice because you matter, we matter. And I'd also like to say thank you for tuning in and listening to me, and also to stay healthy, you know, keep yourself well put together, I guess. Make sure you're focusing on yourself and remember that you're eating properly, getting active, staying active. Wash your hands, please. I would like to get out of the house. And we will all get through this together. Thank you guys for listening.